Hello, everybody. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. I just wanted to share some information with you guys that I think could really help a lot of you. There's so much confusion around who we are and how we can grow and what makes us tick. And I think that I always give a disclaimer whenever I discuss anything around MBTI that it's just a starting point. It's not an end for anybody. But I really think there's so much to glean from MBTI, and it's kind of a rabbit hole every time I go down it. But I will just start by sharing with you a little story that happened this morning where I was in my happy place. I was on a Zoom call with three of my colleagues who are extremely powerful, amazing people who are very wise and all-knowing and all about service to others. So people who absolutely are very like-minded and I love talking to. I was really in my happy place when I was talking to them. I was on this Zoom call and suddenly I hear like gurgling coming from the bathroom and my husband comes running out and he's like, Rachel, you need to get off. Okay, my phone's having issues. My husband comes running out of the one side of the house and he says, you need to come out of your Zoom call. You need to log off because our bathroom has just like exploded. and the gurgling sounds that you're hearing is like every single pipe in our house, it like imploding and like, it's just a nightmare. And I kind of like gave him a look like, okay, I got it. But also I only have a few minutes left on this call and I don't want to leave my happy place. So like my value above everything else was in this space of it was like a very like heady experience when I was talking to these people where I was trying to figure out something and it was like about making a system out of something very complex, which is what I love doing. And so I was in this happy place of mind. My husband, who is very much entrenched in reality as nature, was like trying to extract me. So it was kind of a comical experience. And if you were in this group of mine this morning and you're watching this, just know that I was pretty much ignoring like an apocalyptic moment in my house with no trouble doing so because I was so enjoying the conversation that was in front of me. So that was what was going on. I was in this conversation and what became very apparent to me was that my value of being in this conversation far outweighed any damage and destruction that was going on around me. And it was just really interesting. So I think this can also solve a lot of confusion for people about MBTI because a lot of people will say, I'm a big picture person, so why am I an S? Or I'm really social, so why am I being categorized as an I? And it's not really about like how organized your desk looks, even though that's the question that they'll sometimes ask you on these little online tests. It's really about like, what do you value more than anything else in the whole world? What is more important to you than anything else? And I've actually taken the time and trouble of spending quite a bit of energy in figuring out what everyone's biggest value is. And when I say everyone, I mean everyone according to MBTI. And so it has to be that one of these is going to speak to you. I really believe that in my core, that one of these, at least, if not more than one, is going to speak to you as something that you hold in high esteem and in high regard, to the point that all your other functions, because there are 4 altogether, are actually going to be in service of this dominant function that you have. So I'm going to share with you what your dominant function is and just understand that it has such a huge ramification that all your other functions are in service of your dominant function. When I'm done with telling you that, I have to tell you, I'm going to tell you about my dark side. But actually, you know what? I'm just going to start with my dark side because it's interesting. Everybody has a dark side. Alongside your dominant function that makes you thrive and give amazing things in this world and be your best self, you also have a dark side. Of this dark side, you have 4 dark side functions that are sort of in your shadow. And of those 4, you have one that is the least developed. My least developed function is called introverted sensing, which is all about data recall and all about like kind of looking at the past knowledge and trying to categorize it and stuff like that. So for my husband, his dominant function is this ability to recall the past and do this data collection. For me, going into the past is a very dark thing. Like I'm thinking about the things that haunt me. I'm trying to figure out. I feel immersed in my past. It's hard for me to get out of it. So for me, it's this like dark looming shadow. Whereas for my husband, it's like the best way he operates, which is what I admire about him. So these functions can really determine what makes you feel good and what makes you feel bad. And the advice of this school of thought is don't double down on your dark side. Rather, double down on what matters to you most, what lights you up, what gets you excited, because that's going to fuel you to be the best version of yourself. You'll never get full control of your shadow side. You can try and learn about it, and awareness is really important, so you know that when you're stressed or under pressure, this happens to you. But if you want to figure out, how can I exponentially grow? How can I become the best version of who I am in a short amount of time? You have to look at what you already excel at and gain a mastery over what you already have proficiency over, if that makes sense. So without further ado, I'm going to tell you what your dominant function is, and I would love to hear your comments, questions, anything that comes up for you when you hear this. So I'm going to start with INFJ and INTJ, because one of them is me. NI is the dominant function for INFJ and INFTJ. What is NI? NI is introverted intuition. We have an obsession. We are obsessed with finding patterns. We love getting aha moments as soon as possible. So if you are someone who is so obsessed with pattern recognition and love finding a solution to a problem in your head very quickly, if that makes you happy and brings you to your happy place, if that is something you value above all, you are perhaps an INFJ and INTJ. Otherwise, you're just maybe not so self-aware. But if you're going to be categorized and you know for a fact that this is something you value more than anything else, you are an INFJ or INTJ. So I have a son who is an INTJ. And so when I sit with him and talk to him about ideas and about, kind of seeing patterns and thinking about how to solve, problems in terms of ideas, he and I can sit and talk forever, and we have an obsession around it. And my husband totally makes fun of us because he sees that. So, just so you understand that this is something that would bond you with another type potentially. That doesn't mean that they're compatible with you in other ways, but it means that you can sit with them and see eye to eye on this being the above all value. Okay, let's talk about ESFJs and ENFJs, because these are the people who are like the most popular in the room. You have a lot of your best friends, or some of your best friends at least, are ESFJs or ENFJs. And if you're an ENFJ or ESFJ, you care a lot about people. Your primary value is harmony, how people feel. You value that above all else. All your other functions are in service of people. So if you are an ESFJ or an ENFJ, it's because you value, what's important to you is making sure that everybody is okay above all else, which is a beautiful thing. Okay. Next up comes INFPs and ISFPs. Their dominant function is introverted feeling. Your values come from within. I am particularly jealous of you people because you guys have very easy, intuitive, strong moral code, which is usually hinged on how would I want to be treated, and this is how I'm going to then treat other people. So it's your value that everything else is in service of is how do I want to treat other people? What do I look at as my moral code? How do I want to be treated? And that's going to tell me how I treat others, and all other functions are in service of that. Okay, moving on. ISTJs and ISFJs. So I have some friends in this category. I have my husband in this category. These are the people who, above all, they are so grounded. They, above all, want the here and now, the realistic. They want proven facts. They are practical. They want to catalog experiences. They oftentimes see things in the black and white. Like, this is just how it is. So, like, it's facts. Like, facts don't care about feelings, they might say. Like, the most important thing to them is, here are the facts. You can't argue with the facts. This is what it is. And just getting really, really realistic and grounded. Those people have a strong grounding energy, which is awesome about them. That is an ISTJ or ISFJ. And the next one up is for you performers and debaters. This is the ESTP group and the ESFP group. Not debaters, I'm sorry. This is for your performers, the performers out there. You guys love extroverted sensing, which is when you love energy, you seek out fun, you seek out extroverted, means like not from the sense of extroverted like people, but like extroverted as in outward. Like you're looking for outside sensory, outside experiences, outside fun, outside adventure. So when you're looking at information, you're looking at solid real world information. And all of that is your highest value above all else, so that all your other values are going to be in service of that value. Okay, so we've covered INFP, ISFP, We've covered INFJ, INTJ. We've covered ESFJ, ENFJ. We've covered ISTJ, ISFJ. We've covered ESTP, SFP. And now, if this gobbledygook, you just know that this whole video was a redo because I was literally saying stuff that I was just like, no one's going to understand what I'm talking about. So this is how I've tried to simplify best the point I'm trying to make. So the next value up is ENTP and ENFP. These are the debaters, okay? The ENTPs and the ENFPs, they also love patterns and possibilities, but they love future possibilities. They love ideas. These are the dreamers. These are the people who can see ahead and see so many ideas. Sometimes they even have a hard time with the execution, and maybe they need to like enroll others for support with that because they see the idea and that's so crystal clear and that's their strength to the point that they may need a balancing out in terms of execution. So all of their energy and all of their values and all of their functions are going to be in service of this function of seeing future possibilities and lots of ideas. We're down to our last two values. So if you haven't been called yet, you're going to be called now. This one is for the ENTJs and ESTJs. These are definitely could be like a CEO type of person, someone who's like a visionary, makes hard decisions when hard decisions need to be made. They are highly logical. They have an efficiency for getting things done. So their highest value is their need to move forward. They are going to find the most efficient way of moving forward with their mission that they can possibly find. You won't find anyone with a more perfect, quote unquote, or effective solution that brings them closer to their goal. So they are pros at moving forward, and all of their personality and all of their values and all of their functions are going to be in service of their value of moving forward. There's nothing more important than moving their mission and whatever it is forward. Okay. Last one is ISTPs and INTPs. This is for you. Introverted thinking. This is like the people who all that matters is that they need to look at things logically. They're very logical and they study things, the data over time in their head. So logic over time, analysis, objectivity is all important to them. That kind of a thinker values objectivity and analysis above everything else. And all of their values are going to be in service of that. So I have just shared with you a bunch of different things, 8 values that you're going to look at as a possible dominant function for you. If you need help figuring out which one of these 8 values is yours, I'm happy to help you. It can really clarify for you what your Myers-Briggs type is. It can really clarify for you what you need to be doubling down on in order to amplify your success in the world, in order to become exponentially more effective and more empowering of yourself and others and authentic and self-actualized and all that good stuff. So I really recommend that if you have any questions, you ask or explore and look at what is the thing that is the most important to me of the 8 things that I just mentioned. And then start researching your dark side, because it's really fun when you get an understanding of what is the thing that you admire most in others, but also kind of like makes you most ashamed in yourself. And it kind of gets you, it's like this fascination and stuff, but it's like vague and you don't have a grasp completely on it. And just understanding where that is so that when you're under pressure and you see that part of you coming out, you'll be able to say, hey, this is what's happening. I know what's going on. I need to catch myself out. I hope this was helpful to you. Ask me any questions if you have any, and message me if anyone has anything that they want to say that is confidential. Otherwise, let me know if you like this, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye.